Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, gang is here, obviously. And yeah, nice KV5 game today. Now, KV5 is a tank that, I think was my second, yeah, it was my second turret premium tank. So obviously at the beginning I already played it a lot. Recently I haven't played it much at all. I think before this battle I didn't play it for a couple of weeks, or maybe even 1-2 months. But it's really not because I don't like the tank or I think it's bad. It's just I didn't really need credits, and you know, I had a couple other premiums by now. So yeah, I wasn't really playing it. But I decided to take it out for a spin. Might have been requested on stream, I don't even remember. But I went for it anyway. Now the KV5 is kind of a weird tank. If some guys or some people say it's bad or even shit, I definitely disagree. The weird thing is that its strengths and its weaknesses are kind of the same, which makes it kind of weird. Why do I say that? Well, it starts with the mobility. Like, the mobility in a straight line, this tank's actually pretty damn fast, even not going downhill. But as long as it's a straight line, it just has to be like a straight line. You're gonna reach around 40 km/h, 38 most of the time. The thing is that as soon as you turn, not only do you turn extremely slowly, you also beat a lot of speed while turning. So it's kind of, you know, you get somewhere pretty fast, of course, for a heavy tank. But yeah, once you want to turn, it's just bad. I see WZ-111 as my first enemy, going here for the rock, and that allows me to side script out. So I immediately load gold because it's just got very good armor. Although you might discuss about that. The next thing, and there we go to the loading gold, is a gun. Because on one hand, the gun is kind of shit, you could say. You only have 300 alpha, which at turret heavies is pretty under average. You've got an incredibly bad pin of 167 with AP, which is possibly the worst pin on any turret in the game. Although that could be a mistake from my part. Even the gold pin, at least it's APCR, it's not heat, but it's only 217 or 219, I think. Isn't great. But on the other hand, well, you do shoot around every 7 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 7.2 for me. And 300 alpha every 7 seconds really TPMs down enemies. And it even allows you to perma-track some guys who've got bad repair crews, like the T-32. You can notice I'm not only shooting faster than him, I'm just penetrating his first driver every time and keeping him in position. And I just killed basically the entirety of a T-32 extremely fast. Now these other heavies seem to have been believing that I'm just gonna die in a second or something, because they just rushed below me, and now I'm above them, being able to put shots into their back and engine deck and side, over and over. And I'm just murdering them. Like, look at the damage output. Like, as I said, the gun, the penetration is bad, the alpha is mediocre, but the damage output is really, really good, and I think it's got the best DPM of any turret heavy. And if not the best, then it's second best or something. It's very, very good DPM. And it's often a mistake people make, because they kind of underestimate that. And it can really cost them their tank. And the next thing is its survivability. Because, on one hand, you do have a crap load, do you use that word, of HP at nearly 1800. Which is, I mean, if you think about it, that's a Batchat, yeah? You've got the amount of HP a Batchat has. And the armor is great, but on the other hand, you've got weak spots everywhere. I mean, I'm not going to tell people where R2-D2 is and so on. But in my opinion, as long as you master the tank, with which I mean, sorry, hiccup. You manage to know when to angle, when to wiggle, how to side scrape, backward side scrape, and so on. You really have a very, very good possibility of surviving multiple amounts of enemies. Although it definitely also depends just on how good are the enemies at, for example, shooting your weak spot when you're wiggling backwards and forwards. Do they know how weak or not weak your turret is, and so on and so on. Anyway, we managed to clean up that corner. I'm gonna dare say, thanks to me also doing 4,100 damage, which is pretty massive in a turret game. However, the enemies just rushed through on the other flank, and this game is far from over. Another advantage of this gun over, for example, the gun of the I-6, Also, the accuracy is still pretty crap. I think at 0.4, which is the same as the 100 or i7. The accuracy on the move and the aim time are really not bad, considering it's a tier 8 heavy. And that really enables it to shoot while being at, you know, on the move or at slow speeds or while wiggling. Which is not something you're going to see that much in this replay. But really comes in handy at other moments because you're able to go backwards and forwards slowly. But making your R2 very hard to hit if you do it at an angle. Or other weak spots. While still being basically fully aimed on enemy weak spots or, you know, front track reel, back drive reel, that kind of thing. And it's a massive advantage over the i6, which literally feels like it takes forever to aim. And is, in my opinion, a massive advantage of the KV5 over the i6 or, you know, WZ111 or so on. Now I see this STA, I just go finish him off with a ram. Ramming is definitely also a massive advantage of this tank because even at very slow speeds or face hug speed, you know, like you go backwards and forwards 5 meters or 10 meters, you're so heavy. This tank weighs 100 tons, yeah? That you're able to do, I don't know, 50 damage or 100 damage every time. Let's say it's a, you know, tier 8 medium, even a heavy tier 8 medium like the Panther 2 or a Pershing or something like that. If every shot you also go backwards and forwards, and you do 50 damage, well, it's like 50 alpha more, you know, it's a lot of damage you do over time, and it helps a lot in those kinds of engagements when you're in a 1-on-1 or a 2-on-1, and you just have to somehow get out more damage on them than they do on you. If you manage to penetrate your shots, even if you have a very bad pin, which is definitely possible, even without gold spam. I mean, I shot, what, 4 shells of APCR this game, and they weren't even required? Well, you're definitely able to use your ramming and your weight as an advantage. And also ramming often helps with tracking enemies, and, you know, attract medium can't circle you, attract heavy can't angle as he wants, attract heavy can't wiggle, attract TD, well, attract TD can't turn. So, yeah, ramming is definitely an advantage. I did manage to get the ram on him, and I get him out anyway. In the same time, the LTTB kills my ally, the T-34 there, though. So now we've got a really weird game on our hands. We've got a T-37 in their base. I've got an LTTB against me, who probably wants to cap. Now, there's 2 things I can do right now, and I want to talk about this after I rambled on about the KV5 for like half an hour. He's over there. He can go this way, that way, or this way. Yeah, that's all he can do. Now I could be right now like, I'm gonna chase him, or I'm gonna stop him from capping. But by staying in this area, I stop him from being able to run, and if he goes cap, I'll be back in time anyway. So I'm just going to stay over here and deny the enemy LTTB any possibility of escape. Because if he would have gone straight away, I wouldn't even think it's impossible for him to decap. He had like 50 or even 60 seconds. Now, of course, it's clearly won for us. So yeah, pretty good game. As I said, I managed to have a definite impact on the heavy corner over there. Came back, took out the 87, dealt with the SDA who was also coming from behind. I don't know if you noticed, but he was actually bouncing heat shells off my back. Just showing you how good the armor actually is. Of course, my back was angled. And I managed to defend the base, or the base area, successfully in the end. Let's have a look at how the stats were. That is actually the wrong game. Okay, I'm sorry for that, guys. That was kind of a mistake on my part. I'll tell you real quick that I obviously did 6,100 damage, and I'm gonna put in the comments, just under the video, how much damage and credits and bouncing I did. Yeah, I'm really sorry for that mistake, and you'll see that E50M could have bounced medal game pretty soon. Thanks for watching, see you next time, bye bye.